What's up, you all? Give y'all a chance to come in before I cut my IG on. Maybe I should cut it on now. I don't know. Let me get my videos pulled up. But listen, this was from my friend of mine's podcast. I just think, it's funny. What's up, Katie? Hold on, let me just play this real quick. While I get folks on what's up, Mika? While I get folks on Instagram. But I'm gonna play this real quick. Could you imagine? I want you all to picture Donald Trump saying this. And I just want y'all to picture this scenario where, when it was Trump, when everybody went to go meet with Trump, nobody left empty-handed. Nobody left from meeting with Trump without their needs being met. That's a fact. You never heard somebody leaving Trump saying he didn't do what I wanted him to do. So pretty much everybody that went to Trump got what they wanted. It was just funny how folks would bash him in the media and then sneak over to the White House and then get a check signed for him and then sneak back off. It's just funny. But listen to Joe Biden, who is not cutting any checks. You all remember this little scenario here where he was talking to all the black who's who of society, and just listen to what he says and just picture this being Donald Trump saying this. Says somebody's in the car next to you with a mask. Oh yeah, the mask are back. Yeah, the mask season is back. Yes, mask season is back. Let me move this. Let me do it like this. There we go. Yeah, mask season is back. What's up, Deborah? Instagram doesn't what? What's up, Seven Path? What's up, Kareem and Brittany? Oh yeah, I'm about to get on Instagram. Yeah, Instagram has sent me to the realm of shadows. They don't want anybody to get my content. They said that they lied and said I was talking bad about the Peter pandemic, but honestly, all I did was post videos from YouTube that were from local news networks, Walgreens. Like I just put a compilation together, and they said I was spreading misinformation. I personally in the video didn't mention anything about the Peter pandemic. Anyway, listen to this real quick. And this is Joe Biden talking to Black America.
Is Wally Adeyemo, an African American, who is the #2 guy with real authority at that department. Look underneath just what we're doing in addition to the people we've already named. You're going to see people. Look, and Cecilia Rouse, Cece, she is a significant player. That's a serious position. But it's like when I named her, well, I don't know if that counts. I'm not so sure. Well, if it doesn't count for y'all, well, the hell with y'all. But
right? It started there, and they kept their mouth shut. It was just so in your face, I'm not trying to please people, and they just looking dumbfounded.
Listen. I gotta play it one more time. Listen, I gotta play it.
How'd you miss that? How did you miss that?
I gotta play it one more time.
Now, this is what's funny, right? I never heard this part of the video. So Joe Biden told Black America that if they didn't like what he was doing, to hell with you. Could you hold on, time out. Could you imagine Donald Trump saying to hell with y'all, referring to Black America? Y'all couldn't even fathom Donald Trump even saying this. Joe Biden actually said this, and nobody said a word. Like Joe Biden said this and nobody said a word. It was almost like you all were afraid of Trump, but no, you all weren't afraid of Trump because all that stuff was made up. Y'all are actually afraid of Joe Biden, though. I could tell because there's no way he could say to hell with y'all and everybody stay silent. You got Al Sharpton on the side of the box, and you got some Asian lady on the side. Like, this is the who's who of Black America. And Biden said to hell with y'all, and nobody said a word. Like, nobody even refused. Like, nobody even said, Mr. President, like nothing. Like nothing. Like, it's just insane to me how egregious all this stuff has been, and folks have been silent on it. What's up, Grace? Yes, Shanta. I'm about to go live on Instagram, but I just wanted to play this video because I thought it was hilarious. I never heard him say this. Like, I just couldn't imagine Trump saying I couldn't imagine Trump saying anything even close to this. Like, even like Joe Biden said, to hell with y'all. But let's finish real quick. Let's finish.
All right. Insisted that we keep a record on everything that happened since then. Guys, guess what I'm saying, guys, is, I mean what I say. The hard part here is, Cecilia Rouse, Cece, she is a significant player. That's a serious position. But it's like when I name her, well, I don't know if that counts. I'm not so sure. Well, if it doesn't count for y'all, well, the hell with y'all. But because it's real. It's real. So
I don't know, Shyness. It can't get any more glaring than that. And these are the most astute.
This is the most astute
height of the black bourgeoisie, with the exception of the Asian woman who is shared.
Over the past 6 months, we have been investigating as well as exposing the truth behind all of these food processing plants.
Kamala Harris's
Like, I don't think you all understand. Have we ever heard any president talk like this? Like, we've never heard any president talk like this to literally a group of people. Like, if you don't agree with what I'm doing, to hell with y'all, and nobody said a word. Like, I can't even, like, my mind is just, I didn't know he said this. And, this just adds to the egregiousness of what's really going on. I just wanted to get into hold on 1 second. There's a scripture in the Bible that I'm looking for, and it says, honor thy father and mother, but then it also says, don't give father and mother, don't give your children a reason to dishonor you. I'm looking for that. Let me try to find that because I need that. Y'all know that scripture? Here we go. Anybody know that scripture? Yeah, it was that scripture. I got the Ephesians 6 and 7. I mean 6 and 4. 6 and 4. Dang. That was the only one. Don't give your children. Okay, I guess I'll use that one. Okay. All right, let me get started. Because really it's about, today's about really about fatherhood. And I want to talk about fatherhood as it pertains to the title is called Fatherhood versus Hoodfathers. Ephesians 1-6. Somebody said, why does it say father and not both parents? I think it's just, because so much emphasis on the father, I guess leaving the legacy, leaving the, inheritance. And, I'm just thinking it's from that standpoint. When it comes to honoring the parents, it says mother and father. So I think it's just a thing of, let me look at this scriptures. Okay, let me try that one there. Let me do that. Because I'm gonna start with Ti. I'm trying to get these things straight from my phone. So I'm gonna start with Ti, and I'm gonna work my way around. So let me just yeah. So on the screen on Instagram. Oh, yeah. Erica is doing her own thing. Erica. She has her own YouTube channel, and she's doing her own thing. So it was time for Erica to have her own content. But on the screen on Instagram, I have Ti, I have Lil Boosie, I have D Wade, and I have LeVar Ball. I have three fathers on here, and today's title is Fatherhood versus Hoodfathers. And I'm gonna say this: that a lot of these rappers that have had children, they're actually despicable. I'm gonna tell you why they're despicable. Because what makes you think, as just a person, that you could make music to get a whole bunch of other children to act reckless and then expect good results in your own house? Like, in what world can you promote death, destruction, and damnation and with the youth and then expect good results in your own household? It's impossible. It's dishonorable. So these men are expecting good results from bad seeds being planted. They're expecting a good harvest from bad seeds being planted. And I don't fully blame them. I also blame Black culture, because Black culture, once we make someone a celebrity, we can't hold them accountable. So that means that people that we like that are celebrities, they're able to pillage and plunder our communities because we like them. So, but that's not what this channel is about. This channel is about accountability for everybody. So I'm gonna start off with Ti. Now, T.I. got a lot of energy when it comes to Charleston White, but he don't have the same energy when it comes to his son. T.I. got a lot of energy when it comes to Charleston White, but he don't have that same energy when it comes to his son. So we're about to play this video. That's right, Grace. You're going to reap what you sow. And Black people specifically seem to think this isn't real. I remember I did a live a few months ago, and I was talking about how just because you repent from your sins don't mean you're not going to reap the harvest. Okay. Just because you commit a sin, commit an offense, you pray to God and ask for forgiveness, that doesn't mean you don't get punished for what you did. Your sins being forgiven is what allows you to go to heaven. You being punished is something else. But people struggle with the concept of me being punished for what I did, or just reaping and sowing, or what goes around comes around, or what they say karma. Like these principles all apply, but for some reason, folks think if I ask God for forgiveness, it's not going to happen. I just don't understand where that came from. That's not how that works. You got to be held accountable. You're going to be held accountable. So these men have, and LeVar Ball is not really with these guys. I just brought him out as an example. Everybody hated LeVar Ball, but LeVar Ball never made any songs promoting death, destruction, and damnation. LeVar Ball never abused his children. LeVar Ball never put a bad light on his community. LeVar Ball never did any of the things that these rappers do, yet folks had a problem with LeVar Ball, but don't have a problem with Boosie, D-Wade, and T.I. But let's continue. Let's continue. Man, where? So this first video is T.I. talking about his son. And now I want you to see the energy he has with his son, and then the energy he has with Charleston White.
Only got one man.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, y'all. There was a clip I had on one of my videos. It should have been up in my history, though. Yeah, I don't know. Oh my goodness. Shoot. Let me see something.
In order that the Negro may be.
You know, it don't make any sense. Like these videos should be in my history because I put all these videos in my history to just be able to pull them up, and it's ridiculous. Here you go. That was the video, y'all. I gotta just scroll to the back of it.
Only got one man.
Kingdom of Dahomey
is unfair. I never was there. Ain't none of them.
Go, it's a short to swallow all his chip.
Okay. Okay, let's go. Now, I want you to listen to T.I. talk about his son, and then we're going to get into this discussion. This is called Fatherhood versus Hoodfathers.
You goddamn keep on the prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had that conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's going to turn out. You can.
May I take a selfie with you?
No, yeah. So I already had that conversation with him, man. King's a good kid, chasing after the wrong. And, you know, I trust in God to deal with it the way that he see fit. You know what I mean? It ain't us out. You know, he done got all the whoopings. He done got the punishment. He done did it. He done, you know, did everything as a child you could do to him. So now you're gonna have to go through it. You're gonna have to go through it and get through it. And ain't
So basically, T.I. said that his son is headed to prison. There's nothing that he can do about it. He's going to put it in God's hands. This is what I mean by poor examples of men and poor excuses for fathers. This is the problem. The problem is when it came to rapping about dope and all this stuff, you did it with passion. You became one of the best rappers of all time. This is T.I. Tip. You became one of the best rappers of all time. You put your heart and your soul into your music, to your career, into these women, to these streets. You gave it your all. But when it comes to your son, you're going to put it in God's hands. I'm going to say it again. When it came to T.I.'s music, his career, his businesses, all these things, he gave it 100%. He took the initiative. He didn't put it in God's hands. But when it comes to his disrespectful and unruly child, now all of a sudden, he's helpless and he going to give it to God. This is what I mean by poor examples of fathers. This is what I mean by fatherhood versus hood fathers. Just because you whoop a child doesn't mean you're raising them. Disciplining a child can be done without laying a finger on them. Again, this is the difference between being a father and a daddy. A father and a sperm donor. We're talking about fatherhood, like we talk about manhood. Now, folks gonna say, "Well, Blanche, you don't have any children," but I don't have any children. But I got enough sense to know I can't live a lifestyle counterproductive to a successful family and then expect my family to be successful. So T.I. and Tiny got an open marriage. I don't know if y'all remember that T.I. wanted everybody to go down there to Houston's restaurant on Peachtree Street and protest because his side chick and her ratchet friends had to be taken out of the restaurant because they was ratchet and unruly. Meanwhile, T.I. got everybody up in arms saying they racist. But when you watch the video, no, they was just ratchet and they had to go. That's T.I. though. That's the guy that wants his son to look at him as an example and follow. That's the problem, T.I. Your son King followed you. That's the problem. He's emulating you. That is the problem. He saw his father do it. Now he thinks it's okay. And really the boy is just trying to prove to his father that he can be like his father. That means that his father set a poor example. There's no way that boy should think that the way I'm acting now is going to impress my father. That's why he's doing it, to impress his father. Every boy wants to impress their father, whether their father's in the house or not. Every boy yearns to have the affection and the admiration and the pride in the dad's eyes when he sees the child. This is what all children want. So his son is no different. So what T.I. did was T.I. gave his son a false image, and now his son is trying to live up to that false image that T.I. gave him. And that's the problem. I thought I had the super chat on here. Okay, I'll get it on there. I'll get it on here. Right. I'm playing that video too, where T.I. gets mad because folks are defending him against Charleston White. This is the problem with most people, but this is the problem with Black people. Black people hate to be held accountable. What did y'all think was going to happen with all these rappers spreading death, destruction, and damnation? If the universe is about balance, means that everything in the universe got to be balanced. Everything got to be balanced. That's how God made it. It has to be a balance. Y'all have literally saturated society with debauchery and decadence. And you think that folks aren't going to emerge out of the ashes and hold y'all accountable? Are y'all crazy? Like, in what world are y'all living in? Y'all have pushed destruction, death, damnation, and decadence for decades. People are going to emerge out of those ashes because you all planted those seeds, and they're going to start holding you all accountable. And that's what Black folks hate. That's all it is. It is being held accountable. Folks will say, well, Blanche, you can't speak on it because you don't have any children, and that's not your child. This is Black folks' problem. If I can't speak on it, and T.I. is washing his hands of the boy, and the boy out getting in trouble in the streets, then who can speak? If I can't speak, and T.I. done, and Charleston White can't speak, then who can speak? This is the problem with Black folks. They don't want to be held accountable. So they'll tell everybody that Blanche shouldn't be able to talk. Meanwhile, nobody else is talking. T.I.'s son been cutting up for a few years now, and everybody thought it was cute. Everybody thought it was cute. Now everybody want to get serious because Charleston White said something. No, Charleston White told the truth. He told the truth. Fatherhood versus hood fathers. You don't have any children. I know what a father is not. I asked my father one time, I said, were you a good father? He said, yeah. I said, well, how are you a good father if you weren't there? Like, how are you a good father if you're not there? And if the woman is driving you away from the child, you shouldn't have had a child with her. That's the problem. Y'all are skeeting these women that you don't really love. That's what y'all doing. These women you know you're not compatible with. You having sex with these women, having a child with them, and you know good and well you shouldn't even be sleeping with these women. You shouldn't even be sleeping, but you want to sleep with them. Then you have a child, and now she the bad guy. No, she been the bad guy. You slept with the bad. There was a movie called Sleeping with the Enemy. You slept with the enemy. So don't get mad now because you married, had a child with a woman that's foolish. You laid down with a foolish woman. I don't have no sympathy. That's why I keep telling y'all to abstain from sex, to avoid this. But I'm the bad guy because I say abstain from sex. But again, if you abstain from sex, you won't have the baby mama drama because y'all shouldn't be sleeping with women anyway. I'm not saying it's a foolproof plan. I'm simply saying that when it comes to you procreating with a woman, your due diligence must be done. That means you must put forth 110% effort to determine whether this woman I'm sleeping with is going to be a good mother and a good wife. You have to ask yourself both questions. Is she going to be a good wife? Is she going to be a good mother? If you say no to either one, get up, put your clothes on, and go home. But let's let's hear T.I. talking to his son, trying to give his son some advice. Goodness. Trying to give his son some advice. Now he talking to his son, and most of the conversation is about Charleston White and not about how he raised his son. And most of these fathers never just come out and say, I wasn't a good dad. Like, you cannot be a good dad and then start being a good dad. But most men have too much pride to even say, I wasn't a good dad. Like, how many dads actually grade themselves? Like, actually grade themselves on the job they did with their children. Most men won't even do it. Most men won't even do it because they feel like providing is fatherhood and it's not. Providing is not fatherhood.
And make sure putting out that energy. You put out that suck energy. And now, how you get that monkey on your back? Putting out that energy. Putting out that energy. You put out that suck energy. And the sucker took the bait.
Hi guys, welcome back to Intel Hip Hop, where you get all the news 365 days. T.I. talk situation with advice.
Energy, it don't always come, but like a op, you've been putting that.
BS.
And let me say this. I don't agree with the China one-child rule, but I do agree with everybody shouldn't be able to have children. Because the problem is that there needs to be a qualification to have a child instead of just having sperm and eggs. It needs to be because the problem is people are just having children and they're not prepared to have children. You have to be prepared to be a parent. That means you got to have all your ducks in a row. You got to have your life set up. You got to have gotten rid of all your baggage, all your trauma. You got to come to the table as a parent with a clean slate. Otherwise, you're going to traumatize the child. Now, when I talk like this, folks say, you don't know, Blanche, because you don't have any children. I know enough to know that if you have not dealt with your demons, you're going to give your children demons. This is not rocket science. You got to deal with your stuff first, then prepare yourself to be a parent, not just have a child. Most folks are having children and then becoming parents along the way. It's not how that works. So it means you got to sit down. If you got to go to therapy, go to therapy. If you got to get some counseling, get some counseling. You got to kick your habits. All that stuff got to be done before you have the child, not while you have the child. I'm going to say it again. If you have demons that you have not dealt with, you're going to give your children demons. Matter of fact, y'all should even be repenting before you have a child. Y'all should even be repenting to God for the life you live before you even have a child. A lot of y'all have missed a few steps in the repenting process. Some things you didn't repent for. And the sins of the father going to come down on the children. I'm going to put a verse up in a minute. But I want y'all to listen to T.I. talking to his son. Now, he done made this really about Charleston White more than his son. What he should have told his son was, son, I failed you. The image I portrayed to you wasn't real. It's not even me. That's what T.I. should have did. T.I. should have been a man and said, you know what, son? This image is not a real image. This ain't really me. I want it better for you. Because his son is crying out to him, but the only way his son knows is that his son thinks if I act tough, my dad's going to respect me. So T.I. got to set his son down and say, listen, son, I love you. I don't want you to be none of this stuff. I was wrong for putting that music out. I was wrong for selling dope. I was wrong for being a criminal. Tell your son that. Tell your son all this is BS. To say, son, all this is smoke and mirrors, and I was a part of it. I guarantee his son will change in an instant. To hear his father be honest with him and tell him, listen, I messed up. The humility of the man is going to break the child down. I remember being in college, and my father and I got into a fight. So listen, when my mother passed away, I was 17. My dad was in jail at the time. My dad got out of jail to come stay with me. He needed somewhere to stay anyway, but he came to stay with me. But anyway, we ended up getting into a fight. I don't remember what it was even about, but I lost. You know, I lost with my dad, but I lost. But anyway, but I couldn't whoop my dad, so my only option was to give him the silent treatment. You know, I knew that was going to work. So I went off to college, and I remember it was my second semester, and it was like maybe springtime, and my dad called my dorm room, and this is back in the day when you had a dorm room phone, and my dad called my dorm room, and I said hello, and he didn't say anything. He was like, just kind of like it was like a whimper almost, like a kind of like a cry type, sigh type. It was a weird sound. I never heard my dad I never see my dad even shed a tear. Like my dad tried to cry once when my grandmother passed away, his mother, and he tried to cry, but he couldn't. If y'all ever seen the movie Terminator 2, he told him to smile, and he tried to smile, and he couldn't really smile. That's how my dad was trying to cry. He just couldn't cry. But on the phone, I could just hear the pain when he was trying to speak. And so he just was like, I'm sorry. He's like, please listen. He was like, I'm sorry, please talk to me. Now listen, I've never seen my father defeated ever in life, but I saw him defeated that time. And I tell that story because not only do you realize as a child how much power you have, but you also realize that every man has a weak spot. Every man is vulnerable to something. And so my father was vulnerable to me not talking to him, even though he deserved not to be talked to, even though he deserved it. The fact that I did it, it crushed him. And so I know that not only did that humble my father, but it actually hurt him. And I was real good at the silent treatment. Like if somebody got me upset, I just wouldn't talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't even exist. And they'd be, But anyway, my father though, he that hurt him. And I realized at that moment that even though my father may have been wrong many a times, you still got to have grace and mercy, even as the child. I think I was going on 19, I was 18. Even as the child, you still got to have mercy. Even as a child, you still got to be the one, because guess what? In a situation, somebody got to be the bigger person. Somebody has to exhibit grace. Somebody has to be godlike in every situation that humans involve themselves in. So at that moment, it was at my turn to forgive my father, because what he did to me, what I did to my father was going to hurt him way more than what he did to me was going to hurt, if that makes sense. Me not talking to him was worse than any fight. I didn't see my father. He tried to kill my father several times. I didn't see my father on his deathbed, but he made it through. I'm talking about stabs in the head, cut throat. I'm talking about trying to kill my father. But what I'm saying is that most children still love their father. Even if the father is terrible and trash, the child still looks up to the father. And even though my father never was an example for me, I still looked up to him. And so what I'm saying is, even when it comes to T.I. and his son, I know his son is feeling like my dad don't really love me because I'm not street, I'm not hood. This is what his son is thinking. His son is thinking I'm not measuring up to what my dad was. And this is why it's so important, fathers, for you to give your child the identity, because the mother nurtures the children, but the father gives the child the identity. That's where the child know who they are from the father. So T.I. was supposed to sit his son down a long time ago and tell his son all this is BS. This is why I hear these men talking about, these black men talking about the white man doing this and the white man doing that. You can't be an effective parent if white folks are bullying you. Your children will never respect you. You know, so what most parents do is, most black parents, what they do is they do stuff like they tell the children, oh, I'm a victim and you're a victim too, to get the children to buy into it. I don't buy into that stuff. If you're getting picked on by white people, then you soft and you a coward. Do something about it. If white folks are terrorizing you, do something about it. If America's so racist, take your kids, your family, your wife, and leave. But you know it's not. So again, you can't be an effective parent blaming somebody for your problems in life. I'm sorry. As a parent, there's no excuses. As a parent, there are no excuses. So anyway, listen to T.I. though.
All that energy you've been putting out there, and you probably thought it was gonna come in the form of like a op. You know what I mean? You thought you were gonna have to, you know, it don't always come the way you think it's coming. It don't always come the way you think it's coming. It's coming an adversarial obstacle. And this what I be telling you. This what I be telling you about. Do you see it now?
I mean,
can you see it now? Is all I want to know.
I mean, shoot, bro. I really.
But do you see what I be trying to prevent? When I be telling you how, you know, when I be telling you, man, the energy that you put out is the energy that you will receive. Do you see now what I be trying to tell you?
We ain't got no cups. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it a little bit. I can see it a little bit.
Come and tell you something, man. That monkey you got on your back is just a result of when everything ain't worked. That's last resort, desperation. That's like, you know, they're like a drowning in the middle of.
Now, T.I. is trying to basically tell his son that Charleston White is desperate. And the funny thing is that Charleston White isn't desperate. Charleston White is not a Grammy-nominated rapper. He's not you, T.I. So you're actually engaging with Charleston White. You fell for his trap. He got you engaging with him. So you can't say he ain't on my level because you talking with him. You beefing with him. He's on your level now. So at the end of the day, you look foolish, T.I. And most of these men spend so much time living through their flesh, they don't have any wisdom. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And all that getting, get understanding. And wisdom first starts with fearing the Lord. And fearing the Lord means I look at life and I got to set some boundaries. I got to know that this is going to cost me, this is going to cost me. What T.I. did was, T.I. did what he wanted to do his whole life, and his child is a reflection of that. This has nothing to do with Charleston White. This has everything to do with T.I. and what he did, and now the results of it are his children. His oldest daughter, she was ashamed of her hair. Why is your daughter ashamed of her hair? I'll tell you why. Because y'all are in the house and nobody's telling that little girl that she's beautiful just the way she is. Y'all caught up in Hollywood. Y'all caught up in decadence. Y'all caught up in debauchery. But nobody telling this little girl that how you are beautiful the way God made you. So now she grows up with a complex. And again, this has nothing to do with Charleston White or even me. This has everything to do with the seeds that Clifford Harris, a.k.a. T.I., a.k.a. Tip, a.k.a. King of the South, has sown.
The ocean, man, reaching out, grab whatever they can hold on to. And that comes from not listening. Somebody tried to tell them something early on in life. They didn't listen. And that is what they stuck with. Best thing they can do is latch on to a young like you, putting out them vibes. That's the best thing they can do, bro. Latch on to a young like you. They goddamn putting out that all that stuff energy. Let me connect to that. Got you.
Again, T.I. Again, T.I. is not being honest with his son. And this is why his son's not receiving this message, because T.I. is lying. T.I. is lying. The problem is that T.I. portrayed a false image to his son. And now his son is trying to live up to that false image. It is T.I.'s responsibility to tell his son the truth. Son, I failed you. This image, this facade is all BS. I was working with white supremacy when I was making my music. I was working with white supremacy when I was selling dope in the community. I was against my people. My whole career was built on being against my people. But I bet he won't say that. I bet he'll blame the white folks. I bet he say Black Lives Matter. But I bet he won't say I was an enemy to my own people. I bet he won't look his son in the eye and say, son, I failed you. Because that would be a real man. A coward likes to dance. Them cowards like to dance on the show. But I bet he won't be a real man, look his son in his eyes and say, I failed you. You're right. It's a bad movie. It's a script from a bad movie. This how I know a man don't have any wisdom when he talking, because you ain't saying nothing. You just running your mouth saying stuff that sound good. It just sounds good. That's black folks' problem. Black folks want to hear stuff that sound good. They don't really want to change. That's the problem. That's the problem. Now, T.I.'s son threatened to kill or threatened to beat up or kill Charleston White. But let's react to Charleston White's video real quick. Hold on.
I ain't gonna tell. So little Marlo Mike tick the chin on, boom, boom, boom on the chin for Boosie. But Boosie had little Marlo Mike killing like a motherfucker. Don't forget, man. So your daddy got some dues to pay for all the lives he done had taken, man. He don't just, and so you got to suffer for your daddy's sins too, Tootie Raw. Yeah, y'all daddy them so dope in the neighborhood, and so y'all got to suffer from y'all daddy's sin. And y'all daddies is not trying to right them wrong. Your daddy ain't came out and apologized to now family. He done had family member, he done had whack. Your daddy was having niggas whack, nigga. Bow, bow. And the feds really need to get your daddy, man, and put your daddy away for.
Now Boosie is a young man, 15 years old, little Marlo Mike, I think his name is. Basically, he had a tattoo on his stomach, and it said, "Who you want next, Boosie?" Basically, who you want killed next? And Boosie was asked about this tattoo that he had, and Boosie's response was, "That's my little son." You see, the problem with these people is they don't have any character. And I see through it. You know, once you stop becoming a victim, once you stop getting bullied by white folks, once you actually see this thing for what it is, once you see that white folks ain't the problem, now you can see clearly and see how many of these men are little boys themselves. Boosie and T.I. are immature. They're children. They're children in grown men's bodies. And Boosie, that little boy was shooting people for Boosie because the little boy admitted to 9 murders. And he was going to testify against Boosie, but then he had to change his mind because they done killed one of his family members. They done beat him up in jail. Like, it's all kind of stuff. But guess what they'll tell you, though? They'll say, Blanche, you can't speak on that. What's up, Kamir? They'll say, Blanche, you can't talk about that. Why not? I can't talk about something that's affecting my community. I can't. So let me get this straight. The black lives only matter when the white police officer shoots the black life. Better yet, the black life only matters when 0.03% of homicides are committed by the police. 0.03%. That's when they matter. But I can't speak on this young man being a hitman for a grown man. Boosie had a little kid handling all his battles, handling all his beef. But I can't speak on it, though, because I'm wrong. Because I don't have any children. Somebody told me, but that was a long time ago. That boy, a long time ago. That wasn't no long time ago. That boy's still in his 20s. That boy is in prison forever without parole. He is in his 20s. He got about 60 more years to go, knowing he threw his life away for a man who don't even talk to him. Boosie doesn't even have the decency to talk to him, put some money on his books, make sure his family is straight. He ain't even got the decency to do that. I'm supposed to respect it. I'm supposed to respect it. I can't respect it. He getting pulled over by the police, admitting that he's smoking weed in the car. So he wants to be able to smoke weed in the car and not get pulled over by the police. This ain't California. He want to be able to smoke weed in the car and not get pulled over by the police, and then tell them, I'm going to smoke my weed. Okay, we're going to pull you over. That sounds like a mutual understanding. Man, why they keep harassing Boosie? And I see black people, why they keep harassing Boosie? Because he's breaking the law. Better yet, why they keep harassing Boosie is because he done planted them seeds. He got a debt to pay on the books. People's families was destroyed behind this man's actions. And he only got off because they done hurt the little boy and then killed one of his family members. So the boy said, I ain't gonna testify. But I can't say nothing. Because black culture says, if we like them, if they make good music, shh, don't say nothing. But I'm the sellout. I'm talking about families being restored. I'm talking about fathers being fathers, mothers being mothers, communities being built. I'm talking about holding the folks accountable that's destroying the community, but I'm the sellout. Not T.I. ain't a sellout. Boosie ain't a sellout. D. Wade ain't a sellout, but I'm a sellout. Somebody said, did Brandy get the snake bite? You know good and well Brandy got that snake bite. Y'all know, listen, them folks live in L.A. Most black folks in L.A. got that snake bite. Most people in L.A. got that snake bite. Probably like 80-something% of folks in L.A. got that snake bite. That's L.A. L.A., they're going to shame you. You got to be woke and you got to be jabbed up. New York is the same way. You got to be woke. You got to be jabbed up. I told you, I went out there protesting against this stuff. I went to the streets protesting. I had my signs, my military gear on, my guns. I said, took to the streets. I turned around. It wasn't a Black Panther. It wasn't a black revolutionary. It wasn't a black civil rights. It wasn't a black power fist in it. It wasn't nobody behind me from the black community when I went out there to protest against these jabs and what Joe Biden and them was doing. And that's when I knew it was over. Joe Biden said, you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And then he followed up by saying, and if you don't get this jab, you can't work. He hit the black folks with a double whammy, and black folks not only remain silent, but they complied. So black folks can't tell me nothing. Nothing. Ever again. Nothing. Because you've been exposed. Now Boosie is here, and his son threatening Charleston White But again, Boosie said he protect his children. You protect them, but did you raise them? Right, Grace. At the polls with their own chair. You can protect your children, but did you raise them? You see, everybody can get big and bold and bad when it comes to something foolish. But the hard thing about being a parent is the consistency. So, Boosie, did you sit down with your children and go over their homework every night? That's harder than going and spinning the block because somebody talked about your son. It's easy to go hire somebody to go shoot the block up versus you sit down every day doing your child's homework with them, making sure their grades up to par, making sure he's walking and talking like a young man should, making sure you're setting a good example. That's what you all are afraid of. Here go the 4 things that Black people struggle with, and it will never go away. The first is being emotional and emotionally unintelligent. Black men, arrested development. Black men don't want to grow up. Black women, no humility. Black women are not humble. And Black children have no identity. Those are the 4 things that plague the Black community, and they will never go away. You know why? Because Black culture makes sure that all those things never go away. Black culture protects those 4 things. Black culture protects those 4 things. The emotionally unintelligent, the men not wanting to grow up, arrested development, the women not being humble, and the children not having an identity. Those 4 things Black culture protects and insulates. And those things manifest like a lid on top of a boiling pot. All Black culture is a lid on top of a boiling pot. And one day that top gonna fly off. I won't be around y'all. But let's continue.
For life and see how well he can hold up with that diabetes in jail. Yeah, you know them kind of hoes. You walking down college. Say, I can't see that for. How you know he killed? Was you there? Yeah, everybody know. Marlo Mike said it. Yeah, Marlo Mike said it. Marlo Mike went up to one window, shot through the window while the man was there. Marlo Mike said it, man. Marlo Mike said how much he would get paid. They got the real killer who said Boosie did this, Boosie did that. Why you think they had Boosie ass on death row? Yeah. Them white folks ain't putting your ass on death row for nothing. No. I don't go like that, Jack. Them white folks ain't putting no niggas ass on death row and putting no 5 murders on your ass and putting in the kind of money they were putting in to have Boosie ass put away. Marlo Mike just decided not to testify against Boosie. You know how they go. Man got to spend the rest of his life in Angola till he's 16, man. Yeah, man, Boosie can easily pay somebody in the prison system to get little Marlo Mike. So little Marlo Mike said, now I'd rather stay alive and live comfortable in Angola and not have to worry about this, man. So little Marlo Mike saved his own life, man. He got him life without parole. Boosie out here living his life, fucking with a celebrity named Kanye West and ain't done nothing to him. Kanye West got half white kids, so why wouldn't he say white lives matter? And he got half white and half Black kids. He want to show his kids they matter too. The white in them. Y'all wrong in the motherfucker, man. Yeah, y'all wrong in the bitch.
Yeah, I hate for hard niggas. Sound hard niggas.
Yeah, I ain't bullshit.
And another thing, just a brief side note. Who told y'all that if the child is biracial, the child's automatically Black? Who told y'all that? Who told y'all that the child can only identify with the Black part of them? So in other words, just disregard the mama or the daddy and just be one thing to make Black folks feel good. Because that's some racist white folks said that. Some racist white folks said, if you have a child with a Negro and the child comes out, the child's going to be Black. So some racist white folks came up with that. And Black folks won't let it go. Some racist white folks said the 1 drop rule. That's racism. How you going to exclude a whole other race in your body? A whole other culture, a whole other nation? Your mama white, your dad Black. Oh, just focus on the Black. They're disrespectful. They're disrespectful. They're disrespectful. Who told y'all that? Some racist white people told y'all that. So why don't y'all let it go? Oh, I know why. Because your ego. You're narcissist. Everything got to be black. Even when the child clearly ain't fully black. Which is nothing. And white is nothing. Ridiculous. The whole statement, Black Lives Matter, is foolish and dumb. It's an ignorant statement. It's foolish. How you begging somebody to exist? Black folks on the street. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives. Oh, my life. Stop killing us. Absolutely disgusting. Black Lives. It's disgusting. Y'all sitting there begging some white people who don't even know y'all. Imagine being white and you minding your business. You driving through the street and it's a bunch of folks at your car beating on your window. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives. You like, what the hell is going on trying to get to work? Could you imagine minding your business and you see people crying? You don't know what's. You think somebody them. You think it's somebody been murdered. You thinking it's a conflict in the streets, a war going on. You looking, you seeing signs, you seeing masks, you like, man, what is going on? You just going to work. These folks on your car beating on your window, black, like you terrified. Like, what is going on? You scratching your head, you go to work. What's Black Lives Matter? What's going on? Black Lives Matter, what's going on? Goodness. Can you imagine? You just driving to work. You walk into your building, this folks outside, Black Lives Matter. You're like, what is going? Like, just imagine the average person in America living their life, minding their own business, because most folks mind their own business. And they going to work getting harassed by a bunch of people who have nothing on the table. They have nothing they want on the table. What do y'all want? Black Lives Matter. I'm just, listen, when I first heard that statement, right. Matter of fact, let me put that up here. Because you know I got it. Right. You telling a bunch of white people, just imagine, you running up to them, telling them, I can't breathe. And they're going to say, take your mask off. And then y'all go into a frenzy. Just imagine that. Imagine y'all running up, hollering and screaming, I can't breathe. And they say, well, take your mask off. You flip into a hysteria. If a man is walking around with a mask on that says, I can't breathe, he's not fit to be a father. I said it. If a man is walking around with a mask on his face that says, I can't breathe, he's not fit to be a husband. If a man is walking around with a mask on his face and it says, I can't breathe, he's not fit to be a leader. You are not fit to be a parent if you are saying that some white people that you don't know are oppressing you. You're not fit to don't have any children. If you feel oppressed in America, then do the honorable thing and don't put your kids under oppression. If you are so oppressed, then stop having children. If the white man is so bad and he's terrorizing y'all, then stop having children. Why would you bring children into this oppressive system? I'll tell you why. Because you really don't believe it. It just sounds good to say. It just sounds good to say. They're killing us. We can't walk out down the street without getting shot. We can't leave our house without getting shot. Everywhere we go, they try to shoot us. Like, who, the gang members? No, the police. Not no gang members, the police. The police trying to shoot y'all? The police. It's a cold game, y'all. It's a cold game. It's a cold game. We got T.I. Hold on, let's look at it. Let's look at Charleston White. Charleston White been roasting T.I.'s King and Boosie's son. But the funny thing is that Charleston White is telling the truth though. And the problem, and the issue with Charleston White is he's giving black culture a taste of their own medicine and they can't take it. They can't take it. He's giving black culture a taste of their own medicine and they can't take it. That's all it is. Black culture used to being a bully. This y'all problem. I had a good picture of these white liberals. I had a great. Oh, it didn't save. Oh man, it didn't save. Shoot. Oh, it didn't save. This y'all problem though right here. You all can't see it on YouTube, but I got a picture of some white liberals painting their face with BLM. And this is the problem with y'all right here is that this kind of stuff, this should let you know it's all fake. Y'all keep telling me white people are so bad, but when I cut that TV on, you don't hear anything negative being said about black folks on TV. Show me. You don't see anything negative being said about black folks. Nothing. Who is putting out negative content of black people? Who? I don't see it. Fox wouldn't dare say anything. CNN obviously ain't gonna say nothing. MSNBC, like, who is saying something bad about black folks? So all these white folks in positions of power are praising black people. So how is America racist? Did y'all hear what Lizzo said? Did y'all hear what Lizzo said? Did y'all hear what Lizzo said? Just a brief side note about Lizzo. Lizzo said that she don't make music for white people. Could you imagine? She said, I am making music from my black experience. If that was the case, Lizzo, you would be making music about...
Don't let psoriasis get in the way. With cults, up to 9...
I want to find the IG post. Let me see if I can put up. But this is how racist America is. Lizzo her thing is called Lizzo Be Eating. That's her name. Now, I'm going to read this to you all. This is what Lizzo said. This has happened to so many black artists, Diana Ross, Whitney, Beyonce, rap artists now. Those audiences are overwhelmingly white. I am not making music for white people. I am black, a black woman. I'm making music for my black experience, for me to heal myself from experience we call life. If I can help other people, hell yeah, because we are the most marginalized, neglected people in this country. We need self-love and self-love anthems more than anybody. So I am making music for that girl right there who looks like me, who grew up in a city where she has underappreciated and picked on and made to feel unbeautiful. Yes, it blows my mind when people say I'm not making music for a black perspective. How could I not do it as a black artist? So if Lizzo was making a true experience or music about her true experience, she making music about food. Because the title of her Instagram page is Lizzo Be Eating. So she be making music about pork chops. She making music about 10-piece, 20-piece, lemon pepper, all flat, extra fries, extra ranch, large, sweet tea, and lemonade mix. She be making songs about just regular fried chicken, collard greens, neck bones, oxtails over rice, cornbread. I mean, just the list goes on. So Lizzo, based on her name, Lizzo Be Eating, is not making music true to her experience. Because for her to have her IG page named Lizzo Be Eating, lets you know how much she cares about food. But just imagine if a white artist said, I don't make my music for black people. Just imagine if a white artist said, I don't make my music for black people. You all are telling me America's racist, but a white person can't say, I don't make my music for black people, even though clearly their music is not catered towards black culture. They can't even say it. Even though it's obvious, even though it's true, they can't say that we don't make music for black people because they would get canceled. So how is America so racist that a white person will get canceled for saying the obvious and Lizzo get praised for saying what she's not going to do for white folks, even though her checks are signed by white people, the studio she records out of by white people, the label she owns is white. Everybody that's controlling her is white liberal or white Jewish. Everybody. So the irony of her saying this, and she's literally controlled by white people and Jewish people. I gotta post this real quick. And I gotta finish up with my other two fathers.
Of everything. It made more avenues for me.
So we're back on fatherhood. And we talked about T.I., we talked about Boosie being poor examples of fatherhood. Now, they can rectify this tomorrow if they wanted to by just simply being honest and say, this is where I failed my children. This is where I failed my family. This is where I failed my community. This is where I failed my country. This is where I failed God. But they don't have the humility to do that, so they won't do it. And I get it. But now let's go on to D Wade and his son. now D Wade and his son are the topic because, oh no, before I go to D Wade on poor parenting, let me get on 50 Cent and his son. Now, 50 Cent's son has obviously been reaching out to his father for years. Right? And it's a lot tougher. Imagine the pressure on a child to be upset with your father, and everybody loves your father. You know, imagine that. 50 Cent believes success cost him his first son. I used to love him, but how long can you love someone that don't love you back? Let me play this clip real quick. Why is this not on my? Oh man, this is crazy. Oh my goodness. Here we go.
They a lot of people on the outside think that situation is sad, man. The child can't come.
Yeah, it is sad. It's a sad situation, right? And when you pray for success, you don't necessarily pray for the things that come with it, right? And there's no such thing as success without jealousy, without envy, or entitlement. Entitlement is growing in someone you love, in the scariest part, right? And his mom developed an entitlement that cannot be met. Filtering that energy through his actual personal interests. Let's say now that he's starting to like females, he's conscious of what kind of shoes he want to wear. I need these Jordans, the retro Jordans is coming, different things. And then his mother go, all right, I'll get them for you, but it just bothers me because you're supposed to have them all. So while being a privileged child, he feels deprived. When you had everything I didn't have.
That shit says it all, bro.
Now, I believe that the mother did use the boy to get back at 50 Cent. I do believe that. Here goes the problem. And this is a part of being a man. Part of being a man is you can't say, I don't love my son anymore, when you also say that my son's manipulated by his mother. So you can't have it both ways. You can't penalize your son for what you know obviously happened. If he's a little boy being constantly programmed and conditioned by his mother, then that's not really on him. He's a child. He was a child. So 50 Cent can't get on a national stage or platform and say, I don't love my son anymore, because it's hard to love someone who doesn't love you back. That's literally the definition of love. This is why knowing God is so important, because God has to love without being loved back. See, these folks don't have any wisdom, and that's the problem. These folks believe that love is supposed to be reciprocated. It's not. Love is a choice. If you choose to love, then love. You can't choose to love and then say, I'm not going to love anymore. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying his baby mother or ex-baby, whoever she is to him, baby mama, she wrong. But at the same time, two wrongs don't make a right. They say three rights make a left, but two wrongs don't make a right. So 50 Cent can't say after all this, I don't love my son. This was the perfect opportunity for him to say, I do love my son, and I wish it could have been better. I wish we could have built something. I wish I could have been a better father to him. Because part of being a man is also being a bigger person and a better person. At the end of the day, 50, it ain't your cause that you don't love your son. Because as much as we do to God, God still loves us. And last I checked, We supposed to be like God. So y'all saying y'all gods and goddesses and kings and queens, all this noble and royal and regal stuff until this stuff really matters. And y'all all of a sudden now y'all start acting like some heathens. I don't love my son no more. I'm a god. We gods. You a goddess. I don't love my son no more. It's not how that works. So at the end of the day, they're still your child. Nobody said that because you have a child, your child's supposed to love you. It's like if you rescue a dog and the dog don't like you, you gonna stop feeding it? If you rescue a dog and the dog don't fool with you, are you still gonna feed it? Keep it warm, take care of it, take it to the vet, wash it? Exactly. Because y'all have been taught that love has to be reciprocated. No, love is a choice. And if you choose to love, then love. You don't base your love on what somebody else is doing. So if that's your son, you can never stop loving your son. Because there's going to be one day he's going to wisen up. One day he's going to grow up. One day he's going to be a young man. He's going to realize this whole thing for what it is. So you don't want him to realize what's going on and then him not be able to turn to you as his father. That's going to be torture. I just mentioned earlier that somebody got to be the bigger person. As I mentioned earlier that my father called me, even though he was wrong, he called me and he was crushed because I wouldn't talk to him. So what I'm telling you is that in all these situations, you're supposed to be the bigger person. The young men's brains don't get done developing to 24 years old. He's 25 in this modern era. So in this era, if somebody's 25, they're really 18. Children are a lot more immature these days. This is an immature generation of children. My generation was more mature than this generation. And before mine, more mature. These children are immature. So actually, if he's 25, he's really about 18, 17, 18, and is thinking. But I know deep down inside, he wants a relationship with his father. I know. He's no different than T.I.'s son. He's no different than Boosie's son. They all the same. They want a relationship with their father. And I hear somebody here talking, I can tell he don't have any wisdom. He don't have any understanding because he's speaking from emotion. And this is the problem with most men nowadays. And most men have adopted female traits of being emotional. Most men, they don't make absolutes. They don't just say under no circumstance. They don't. They say, well, if the son is doing bad and the mom is doing bad, then I can do bad. It's not how it works. You chose to be the father. You chose to be the leader. That's a choice you made. If that was the case, 50 Cent should have abandoned ship years ago, but he didn't. He still wanted to be in his son's life. So don't quit now. Don't quit now because it's tough. If you rescue an animal on the side of the road, you take it home, are you going to take care of it because the animal don't fool with you? This notion that y'all are supposed to love and get love back is a worldly concept. Love is a choice. Either you choose to do it or you don't. So if you don't want to love, then don't love. But you're not going to start loving and then stop loving. That's not how that works. Because God don't do it to us. God doesn't do it to us. God doesn't do it to us. 50 Cent has sowed seeds in his life. So guess what, 50? You terrorize your community. This is what happens, men. This is for all the men. You can't go around robbing people, stealing, spreading death, destruction, and damnation, and think when you have a seed, it's not going to reflect on the children. So 50 Cent made his bed a long time ago. So what he should have did was, like T.I. should have did, and Boosie should have did was, go to their sons and say, I set a poor example for you. I apologize. All this stuff is BS. It's not real. It's a fake image. It's a facade, and it destroyed our people. Be honest with the children. These men are not being honest, and they will never get the results they want. Go to your son and humble yourself. I failed as a father. But they won't do that because their egos are through the roof. And you wonder why the children don't respond well to you because your ego is through the roof. You don't get to cause death, destruction, and damnation on this planet, robbing and stealing and killing, shooting and looting, making music, promoting that, and then say, oh, I want the perfect children. Man, that's crazy. That's nuts. These children, these young men have watched their fathers be unaccountable for decades. They know who they are. Y'all don't know. Y'all caught up on the image. They know who their fathers really are. Just like I knew. So again, if you want to have a good household and you want to have your children come out right, then start before they're born. How about that? How about you get your stuff together before they're born? How about you go to God and say, listen, God, forgive me for being a poor example for those around me. Lord, forgive me for robbing, for looting, for killing, for stealing, for drug dealing, for being a poor example, for being disobedient to you. Lord, forgive me. Lord, I repent. Lord, give me a clean slate so I can be a great example for my children. Now one of these men did that. You know why? Because they're cowards. That's why. And so when you're a coward, these are the results you get when you have children. You have children that rebel against you. Let's go to the scripture. Let's go to the scripture. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath. Read it again. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Admonition. So what I'm telling you all is, men, you don't get to sow these seeds and not expect to reap a harvest. That's not how that works. And it's never going to work. So when I'm talking to men, I can tell whether you're going to be a coward when we're speaking or you're going to be a king, whether you're going to be wise or foolish. And a wise man will always accept responsibility. The man's supposed to guide, provide, and assume all the responsibility. That means if it doesn't go right, there was something I could have done better. This is what they're not teaching you men. You're not being taught this because you're getting your manhood stuff from social media, all these celebrities and movies and stuff. That stuff is fake. I'm giving you all the real ingredients to being a man. Guide, provide, and assume all the responsibility. You must humble yourself first before God and ask God for forgiveness for being a poor example of what a man should be. Pray that God gives you a clean slate to be the father that your children are going to need. That's not what they did. What they did was they were skeeting, they was beating, they were shooting and looting. They had a child in the process, and then kept skeeting, beating, shooting and looting, another child, beating, skeeting, shooting, and going and so forth. But then they expect a good result. It's insanity. It's insanity. It's insanity. You see, what happens is folks get caught up in thinking that provision is synonymous with being a good father. Bill Cosby provided for his children. but he was cheating on his wife. So even though he provided, he was a poor father and he was a poor husband. You see how that works? You see how a person can provide for the children and still be a poor father. So providing for the child is this much of the responsibility, and you shouldn't get credit for it. You're supposed to provide. If you have a dog or a cat, you're supposed to buy dog food and cat food. Like, why are we giving credit for these men providing for the children that they decide to create? What are we talking about? You don't get no credit for feeding your child and providing for them. Is that how low the standard is? You get credit for raising your children the right way. And you raising your child is going to require you to turn from the world and listen to God. So again, you don't get the luxury of planting all these seeds and then later on expecting a good harvest. No, you're going to get exactly what you sowed.
From like, the reason I'm watching this because I just reacted to Buddy saying $80K a year wasn't good enough for him. And what 50 just said just explains everything. He's like, have a privileged child that feels deprived. You have everything I didn't have. Just you feel you need to be more privileged because of who I am when you already have everything that you need, that you could ever, because you do ever want. The only reason that you could ever want, and the only reason why you think that you want more is because of who I am, which is the definition of entitlement. You were entitled to more because I have more. That's, you know, that's untrue.
When you had everything I didn't have.
Mm.
I can tell you how much my kids cost. In New York State, 1.360.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
$1.36 million.
In New York State, 1.360. You see what I'm saying? And I don't have an issue with paying the support fund. The reason why I'm the way I am with those kind of situations, I pay my support that year that the baby's born. Move the money to the account, let it, and it automatically disperses a certain amount of money per each month.
Mm.
So with him, I noticed over the years like it developed.
Damn. So yeah, 50 drops the money for the entire 18 years and then count the years the baby's born. 1.36.
I'm gonna say this again. You don't get credit for taking care of your children. I don't know where you all got this from. You don't get credit for taking care of your children. So again, we're talking about fatherhood versus hood fathers. There's a difference between providing and raising. The providing is the basic requirement of the child being in existence. You don't get credit for that. If you were taking a test, that's literally the sheet of paper the test is on. So now we get past that. Again, 50 Cent shouldn't have had a child with this woman. So again, fellas, I'm never going to give you an excuse for making a poor choice in a woman, because this woman didn't just become like this. This is who she always was. And he chose to have sex with her and make a baby with her. So he made this choice. Again, men, if you make poor decisions, they're going to cost you. I told you the problem with black men is they don't want to grow up. This is juvenile thinking that I can make a poor decision and it's going to end up well. Thinking that, oh, well, if I just take care of the child, she going to act right. Oh, if I give her money, she going to act right. Or if I take care of her, she going to act right. Not how that works. She's not acting bad because of not being provided for or not being taken care of. She's acting bad because she has poor character. You can't fix that with money. When women have poor character, you just don't deal with them. Ladies, when a guy has poor character, you just don't deal with him. So guess what? This is 50 Cent's fault. It always goes back to the man because the man is supposed to guide and provide and assume the responsibility. So it behooves a man to, when he wants to have a child, to make sure that this woman is not going to be foolish. That is your job, fellas. That is your job. So again, if 50 Cent had it been 50 Cent today, he would have never got with her. So the problem is, again, when it comes time to be a parent, you got to take a step back and prepare yourself to be a parent. Prepare yourself to be a husband or a wife. That's a process. This is why I say stop having sex for this very reason. This is what happens. Because most of you all don't have a common enough sense to pick the right woman at that young of an age. You're not seasoned yet. You don't have enough game to pick the right woman at that age. At that age, it's really luck. Y'all don't know enough. You don't know enough at that young age to pick the right woman. That's why it's best y'all don't have any sex and just chill out and just observe, see what's going on. So fellas, stop having children with these women. It's an easy fix. Stop doing it. His baby mama didn't just get like this. She was like this from the beginning. Ain't nobody tricking nobody. Nobody's getting tricked. Y'all see the signs. Talk to all these women. He tricked me. Then I talked to him, and it was 100 signs. What's up, Chris?
It's a million sitting in there. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't enough. And the only issue, the only rapport of, especially when it's 1.3 million, 1.3 sitting in that bank. And
with him, I noticed over the years, like it developed, because I blamed on his mom for a long time. But it's not his mother, it's him. Like I've gone places where he was at, he left.
Fifth, you love your son?
I used to. You ask yourself how long, a complicated question would say, how long can you love something that don't love you back?
That's,
you see yourself.
Hold on. Oh, about Tia and her husband. I just saw a clip of them. And he was like, you know, marriage, they get on your nerves. She's like, you get on my nerves too. Again, you know, I think they're just tired of each other. So they asked a very important question here. They said, how long do you love someone before it doesn't love you back? And my answer to that is forever. Forever. If you ask me the question, now Van Jones, he's softer than a jellyfish, so he ain't gonna say nothing edifying. He's a woke victim. He's so disgusting. He ain't nothing edifying to offer 50. If you ask me, how long do you love someone that doesn't love you back? I'm going to say forever. A father should never say, I don't love my child. It's not godly. This is why our example of fatherhood really comes from God. Our example of fatherhood really comes from God. So the thing really is, you never stop loving. You never stop loving. Because I know it's going to be one day his son's going to come to him and he's going to break down. I know how it works. I know how this thing works. So at the end of the day, Love is not something that we limit or that we ration out. It just sounds good to say. How long can you love? It sounds like a good line from a Tyler Perry movie. But how long can you love something that doesn't love you back? Ooh, girl. Ooh, that hurt. Ooh, that touched me. Like it's foolishness. That ain't godly. How long do you love something that doesn't love you back? It's foolish. It's not divine thinking. It's not divine actions. God loves us regardless. We don't change God loving us. So at the end of the day, 50 Cent supposed to love his son forever. Because the only thing that's going to save his son is love. The only thing that's going to save his son is his father's love. That is the only thing. So somebody going to have to be the bigger person. This is part of being a man. This is part of being a father. This is a part of purpose. Somebody has to be the bigger person. Here's somebody now. I hear an emotional man in the background talking. I hear an emotional man screaming, how long I got to be the bigger person? Forever. How long I got to be the bigger? Forever. Oh, that's a power line. That's a power line. Now, at the end of the day, if somebody asks me, do I love my son? I'm going to say, of course. I don't care what my son, I'm always loving. That's what his son needs to hear. I don't care about what's going on. That's what his son needs to hear. That his father loves him no matter what. That's what gives you confidence in God, and that you know that God loves you no matter what. It's the same thing with a child. I work with young men for years. I know all this stuff. You get them boys one-on-one and they breaking down. I'm talking about the hardest of the hardest, the killers and the drug dealers and the gorillas. You get them one-on-one and they breaking down. Because all they really want to know is that someone's going to love them no matter what. And the only reason folks have a problem with that is because they've made love conditional, and it's not. Somebody said, I seen where his son said that that's all he really wants. That's why the money wasn't enough. I know. Listen, I know what these boys want. I know what these boys want. I know what these boys want. They want their dad. But really what these boys are yearning for is the best version of their dad. That's what they want. They want the best version of their father. That's what these children are yearning for. LeVar Ball got criticized, scrutinized, kicked off ESPN, and he ain't done a fraction of what these men have done. D Wade up there living vicariously through his son. These are poor examples of fathers. LeVar Ball is not. LeVar Ball was intentional with his children. He got 3 children currently in the NBA. And they're not troublemakers. And they're good kids. Now, how is it that LeVar Ball gets scrutinized and his kids are turned out good, and the ones that are terrible fathers get praised? What kind of world we living in? Now you can't wear them now listen, you can't wear them big baller shoes now. You can't hoop in them now. You can't be able to preserve your feet. But anyway, you know, I'll say all that to say that yeah, right. Somebody said a child can accept that their father doesn't love them and they internalize it as shame. Later, they will have to grieve the lack of love they were due. Very sad. Exactly. I know these boys are just crying out, but these boys are crying out for the best version of their father because their children look at their father for what they're supposed to be. I looked at my father not for what he was, but for what I envisioned him to be. I looked up to my dad. He didn't even deserve it, but I just saw him as something so, and he wasn't. I just saw him as something so great, and he wasn't. But again, even as me as a young man, I still wanted my father's love. Like I still wanted my dad to be there and to be a father. You know. So, I'll just say that when it comes to being a man and being a father, we don't really get any excuses. We don't get the luxury of saying, I don't love my son anymore. My son going to prison. What can I do? I'm a ride for my son, but not raise him. Can't do it. So these men have sown seeds. D-Wade too. Even with D-Wade's first relationship with his first wife. D-Wade has sown seeds as well. Now look at D-Wade. Do y'all respect D-Wade? Do y'all respect his family? No. Do y'all respect what D-Wade got going on? No. So now we know that whole thing with his ex-wife was true. Because the results of that ex-wife, him divorced and all this stuff, look, these are the results. The results of him leaving his ex-wife and all that stuff, getting custody of the children, this is the results. He got Gabrielle Union on a radio show talking about how he liked his salad toss. How he likes his dookie, his shooter getting ate out. So D-Wade went from all this to literally in one sentence, oh, he likes when I toss his salad. These are poor examples of fathers. They're poor examples. These are examples. Let me see. D-Wade salad toss. Let's see.
Really hit somebody and this guy in the face. Of course, that's happy. Anyways, who cares about all that? They are clearly happy and in love. So
let me tell y'all something too.
Oh my dad.
Gabriel Union just did an interview.
Oh my dad.
Get him young.
and say, look, if you're going to be just offering blowjobs willy-nilly, there should be, you know, some pleasure that you experience in return. To virginity in their 30s, and they were like, it sucked. I could have done this much earlier. And I know people who, you know, begin your sexual journey the equal pleasure, and we're not just the vessel for someone.
Then does that mean she has to eat the man's butt?
I mean, if we're talking about, you know, equal time here, reciprocity.
Guys really aren't, at least the ones I know, ain't really into this.
That's what they say. That's what they're saying.
So when
that's not what's happening.
How old were you when you first ate a butt?
Was it with the teddy
Gotcha.
bear?
The teddy bear. That teddy bear got it. From the rooter to the tutor, that's teddy bear.
Lift up the furry tail.
I liberated him.
Don't move, bear.
Yes.
No matter
I'm
what
enjoying this
feel.
bear. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, it's all about equality. And a lot of times, especially women feel like I'm gonna lose him if I don't do XYZ.
Right.
And there's never any thought to the woman having any expectation of enjoying sex. I'm just a vessel for somebody else's, you know, in sexual gratification. And we have to take that back. We have to,
So she done made eating D-Wade's butt about women's equality. Listen, man, how woke can y'all be? She said, tossing his salad is linked to women's liberation. Listen, man, there is no self-respecting man that would allow his woman to get on a major platform, sway in the morning, and tell the world that you like your salad tossed. Now, do you think she's tossing his salad and he looking masculine while she doing it? You think she got his legs cocked open? Think she got him up there squirming and squiggling, squealing like a stuck hog? Do you think when she tossing D-Wade's salad, he's doing it in a manly position? Or you think she got the cheeks spread open? I know it sounds bad, does I know. That's how crazy this sounds. She got him hitting his head on the headboard, squiggling and squirming. And she puts her tongue that tongue in a tunnel of love. I don't want my salad tossed. I remember a girl tried that. You know, I was like, oh, what you doing? I ain't got to find out. I don't want I don't want my shooter played with at all. Don't touch my shooter. Don't do it. We ain't gotta, every area ain't gotta be explored, and I'm cool with that. But this woman got on a national platform and told the world that D-Wade like his salad tossed. D-Wade. This superior athlete, this supreme man, you know, this God among mortals, and he in the bed squirming and squiggling like a salamander. He in there moaning and groaning like a stuck pig. So, yeah, I don't know, but there's no self-respecting man that is going to let his woman get on a platform like this and tell the world he liked his salad tossed. I believe she said this as a beacon, like the bat symbol for the LGBTQP, don't forget X, Y, and P, Z community. You know, because Batman had a bat. You know, the LGBT community got a eggplant. You know what I'm saying? You know that light shine up, it's an eggplant. This woman linked tossing salad to women's liberation. It's crazy. It's crazy. Somebody said they burp smell like Fort. It's crazy. Anyway, my point is though, what type of example can you set for your son if your wife is telling the world she got you squirming and squiggling like a piglet in the bed with your legs cocked open as she take a deep dive, cracking open that oyster? What are we talking about? What happened to the men? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? He like his salad tossed. Now you know now, just think about this now. If tossing salad is the norm, what is them getting freaky? I want y'all to think. If tossing salad is the norm, then what is them getting freaky? If her having him squirming and squiggling like a little oiled up greased piglet, if like a pig in a blanket, if her having him squirm like that is the norm, then what is it when they get freaky? Can you imagine? Can you imagine when they get freaky? That's what I'm talking about. When she said this was that bat symbol, but it was an eggplant in Gotham City. And it wasn't for the Joker or the Riddler or the Penguin, and it wasn't them. That symbol was for the Gotham underworld. You know, the LGBTQs in Gotham don't play. They like superhero gays and trans in Gotham. So yeah, this is crazy. It became crazy. Oh, Vivica Fox did it too? See what I mean? You see what I mean, y'all? Now, how is it that 50 Cent's son done gone astray, D-Wade's son done gone astray, T.I. and Tiny was accused of doing all kind of stuff, and a few of them was men. It was like 6 girls and 3 guys that accused T.I. and Tiny. So y'all see a trend? Y'all see a trend? Y'all see a trend? Listen, I ain't saying these men are of that community. I'm simply saying you get on TV telling the world that you tossing somebody's salad. To me, that's a beacon, because no man would want that. No real man would want you to tell the world he like his half shell cracked open, left open. No man gonna tell you that. No man's gonna want that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I guess it's a sex educated. It's not ended with sex, huh? I'm just saying though. I'm just saying. Listen, I love y'all, and I want us all to be better. I want us to stop pointing the finger, and then in their cases, stop using the finger. This woman said that her tossing salad is linked to women's liberation. Do you know how crazy it is? Do you know how woke you got to be to look in that tunnel of love and see liberation? Do you know how woke you got to be to look in that tunnel of love and see liberation? You got to be woke to see that. You got to be woke to see something positive in the man's anus that's going to liberate a whole group of women out in the world. Mm. Mm. All the while, though, you ain't heard LeVar Ball's wife say nothing about him, but nothing positive. It's all positive. LeVar Ball's wife, them been asked to be interviewed 1,000 times, and she either declined or said something positive. Who else? They said y'all pray for Brandy. I think they said Brandy had a seizure. Brandy had a seizure, and then the housewife girl, Nene Leakes, her son had a heart attack. I think he had a heart attack. He had a stroke. So we all know what it's from, though. We all know. But listen, I love you all, and fellas, just know if she got your legs cocked open, if she got you squirming and squiggling and wiggling, if she got you like a squid on dry land, she's not gonna respect you. There's no way a woman gonna respect you tossing your salad. Now she might do it. She ain't gonna respect you though, because she knows she can have you in a compromising position. She ain't gonna respect you. I'm just be honest with you. I'll just be honest. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much, and I will see you all maybe Friday. Thank y'all so much. I love y'all, YouTube.